Late last year, we made a video about EDC hacks. You guys clearly really liked that video a lot, so we decided to make another one. Here are 7 more EDC hacks that could get you out of a bind. Let's do the damn thing. I do want to take a moment to thank our channel sponsors. These are the companies that have been with us from the beginning, believed in our mission, and have supported us from the very beginning. First up is Big Idea Design. They are amazing. They have free worldwide shipping. They have unquestionable the best customer service in the game. They also have lifetime warranty on all their pins and tools. If they can fix it, they will. If they can't, they'll replace it. And they actually have a Kickstarter that's live right now for this right here, one of my favorite fixed blades right now, and this is the Lookout. This is one of the custom American-made ones, but they have a production run with a lot of different handle options. They are live on Kickstarter right now, and early bird ends today, so go check it out. We also want to thank our channel sponsor, Worksharp. They make great sharpeners, but they also make great content here on YouTube with their workshop series. They teach you how to sharpen your own knife, so go check out their latest video, which talks about knife steel versus edge angle. And actually, our first hack comes from Worksharp. If you have a knife that's on washers like this, but it doesn't act like this, and acts a little bit more like this, which is tuned, it's just never been that great, here's what you can do about it. So you take a Worksharp Professional Precision Adjust. This also works with just the regular Precision Adjust. Let's get some plates out here. We don't need any of that. What you need is really just this and this. First, you're gonna take this thing apart. So please hold while we do that. Ricky, throw something in there to keep them entertained. There's way too much sun. Look at that, too much sun. I like snacks.
The man in this alley cat. Yeah.
I built this handle. Oh no! No. So once you get the knife apart, you get your phosphor bronze washers. I like to clean them off with some alcohol. Might as well get the knife while you're at it before the alcohol dries out. And all you're gonna do, you can take note of which side has the mar marks on it. This one has the marks on this side and not on this side. So that's the side you want to polish. So about 30 seconds. So I'll watch my watch. I'm just going to do this right here on the ceramic for about 30 seconds. You can give it a swirl if you want, back and forth. It doesn't really matter. Please leave in all 30 seconds of that. All right. After 30 seconds has finished, you can already see it's shinier. It's already polished up. Then you can take it to this honing compound on the strop and just give it some back and forth action. That is really polished now. So I'm gonna make note of which side. You can see the difference in the polished side and the unpolished side. This side's really shiny. Those are way more polished than what they originally look like. This one's like reflective and this one's not. Now we have to put this thing back together. The only thing to really note about orientation is that you want that polished side facing in towards the blade. So once you have everything together, it should be a little bit closer to this. It may not be perfect. You may need to polish a little more, but after you get it together, look at this. I was definitely not doing that before. And you may not like drop shutty knives. I don't necessarily prefer it, but I like something that is predictable, that works the way I expect it to. And this is a way that you can do that. This one, I know it does this every single time, right? It drops every time when I pull this. This one was not like that at all before. You'd have to like sling it to close it. But now you can just pull them back, it closes. All right, so if you are out and about and you need to tune up your knife, if it's dull, chances are you can continue working with your knife, right? Like there are very few instances where a knife is so dull that it just doesn't work. But let's just pretend that that's the scenario. There are a lot of ways that people know that you can kind of hone a knife on the fly. For example, the top edge of the window on your car, the bottom rim on a mug. There's a lot of things that people know, but one you may not have considered is right here on this Leatherman. It comes with a diamond file. Not all of them do, but if you have the diamond file, this diamond file is actually somewhere between these 3 plates. So you have 320, 400, 600. This is closer to 600, but I'd say maybe about 500 grit. That's a good working diamond to get an edge back on your knife. You don't want to have to be doing repairs, like fixing chips or anything, but if you have a knife that's slightly dull, if you can see this, I don't know if you can see, This thing is not shaving sharp at all, right? Like, not really getting anything done. Let's put a little bit of work on it with this Leatherman. Just like you would freehanding, find your edge, angle, and just go to town. And you don't really run the risk of ruining anything doing this, right? You aren't really taking a lot of material off the knife edge. It's a diamond file on your Leatherman, so it should be able to withstand this for a long time, unless you do this like weekly, you know? At that point, invest in a better knife sharpener, or just maintain your knife a little better. This is like emergency scenario, but it works. All right, so a couple things to note about this hack. You got to know how to freehand sharpen. I'm not great at it, and it took me a while to get the angle right. 2, you're probably better off just maintaining your knife to begin with. Personally, I think that's what you should be doing anyway. Hone and chop pretty regularly. And number 3, it's just better to have one of these. Like, I'm not saying that because Worksharp is a channel sponsor. I have these literally everywhere and have for years because they are just so good. Plus, the hone and strop is what I use the most. So this ceramic hone and the strop on this side. If you just do that a couple times a week, takes 2 minutes, you're really going to have to sharpen your knife a lot less, and you won't find yourself in this situation to begin with. But it will work. It will work. You're just going to have to finesse it. And when you're done using your diamond on your Leatherman, you're probably going to need something to at least strop it, maybe the inside of your belt, right? Little leather belt. You can strop on that. But just avoid this one if you have to, or if you can. It's there. It'll work, but it's not the best. And speaking of ways to avoid the previous situation, there's a product that I would highly recommend. It's this right here. This is not a hack. This is not the hack. This is the Wazoo Viking Spark. You have a whetstone here. This, in my opinion, in my experience, is easier to use than that Leatherman, but there's a little trick, a little hack, if you will. So the Viking is sold as a single product, but the Viking Spark is the fire starter version that has a ceramic striker and a ferro rod. So you can sharpen your knife with this very fine stone. This is going to take a while, right? This is almost like, I don't know what grit, maybe 800, 1,000. It's going to take a while, but you have the benefit of ceramic. What do we use ceramic for? Honing. So, say it with me, honing. So once you have actually sharpened your knife, you can flip this thing around. This is a polished ceramic. You can just start honing your knife on the ceramic, and it works surprisingly well. You don't have a lot of room to work with, but you don't really need a lot of room to work with because you're just, say it with me, honing. This works exceedingly well. This is a little tip from Dustin at Wazoo, who makes these. He was also giving a class on the Viking Spark, showing us different ways that we can use it, and this is one of the ones he mentioned, honing with the ceramic on the back. It's really nice to have just a little piece of ceramic. You can use it as a striker for your ferro rod, but also to hone your knife on the fly. If you need to start a fire and you don't have a lighter, or maybe it's out of fuel, whatever the case may be, all you really need is a Swiss Army knife and a battery, and then something to catch the spark. Let me show you how. So effectively, this is the same trick as a battery and a gum wrapper. You just kind of close the circuit, short something out, and start a fire. But you can do that with a Swiss Army knife. You just need something like some steel wool and a battery. This doesn't really work well with a AA or AAA, but one of these little VAP cells will work really well. So open up your bottle opener because it will lock at 90 degrees, and the can opener. You want to sit the negative terminal of the battery against the bottle opener, hold it in place, and then bend the can opener down a little bit. It will spark if you touch. It's okay, but you don't really want them to touch. What you want to complete the circuit is this steel wool, which you kind of fluff up a little bit and then stick it in there. Doesn't take much. Now, of course, you would need a tinder bundle or some sticks to keep this going, but that right there will start a fire very easily. And you saw how easy it started. Very simple to start a fire with a Swiss Army knife and a battery. So this tip actually comes from a friend of mine. His name is Jonathan Burton, or the Bearded Burton over on Instagram. He's also got a YouTube channel. He's a wilderness survival expert, teacher. He gives courses and classes, teaches all kinds of stuff. He has a wealth of knowledge, and this is one that he was talking about at a class I was at this past weekend at Georgia Bushcraft. So you have a Bic lighter, you're trying to start a fire, but it's out of fuel. It's actually pretty easy to start a fire with a Bic lighter without fuel. You just need a little bit of patience, and I'll show you how. For starters, this little safety strip, or whatever they want to call it, you got to get that out of there because it gets in the way. It just makes it harder to turn the dial or striker or whatever you want to call it. Yank that out of there. You don't need it. You don't need it anyway. Just take it off anyway. This is a new lighter, by the way, so I do have butane in here, but assume we don't. You also want to take this cover off. You don't have to, but this does make it easier for the next step or a later step. So you want your lighter to be really accessible. So the next thing is you take a knife that's got a nice hard 90-degree spine on it. You can use the blade, but it's just easier to get finer cuts with this, and you're not risking like cutting into the plastic. Instead, you're just using this and shaving. That's all you want to do. Shave off little bits of plastic and get yourself a little pile. So we have ourselves a small pile of plastic. The next thing to do is to roll this without creating a spark. If you create a spark, you're going to undo some of your progress, and it's just going to get really annoying, and you're going to get frustrated. The best way that I've found to do this is to take like the pad of your finger and just slowly roll it, and you're just going to collect some of that ferro dust on this pile. This can be slow going, so just bear with it. And the closer you keep this to the table or whatever surface you're on, the more concentrated that pile is going to be. You do want some of it concentrated. The key here is to not strike so hard that you lose your ferro dust or that it like breaks up the pile. I'm also going to try to do this without actually lighting the lighter, which makes it easier because you've removed all this stuff. So let's get close, and first try. First try. You can't see it, but that plastic's melting. That's fire. So if I take this dry grass, look at that. That is starting a fire with a Bic lighter and no butane. So assuming that this isn't working for you, another technique, if you just happen to have a ferro rod, is that you can just scrape this off as well. Instead of rolling that, you can just throw some shards down. This is accomplishing the exact same thing, but this is way faster and way more controlled and way easier. So if this is just taking too long, or it's a little too windy and you can't get the concentration of ferro dust that you need, look how fast that is. And this is way easier to throw a spark with, and it'll work the exact same way. So this is like a continuation, another tip from our friend JB, and his conversation was actually about 90-degree spines. Showed that you can scrape off the plastic using the back of your knife. You can do that with the edge of your knife, but it's a lot harder to be more controlled. You can get smaller shavings, but it's way easier, say if you're shaving a piece of wood, to cut into that wood. And then if you're making something like a bow, which is something I don't do, but JB does, if you cut too much into that, you ruin the integrity of the grain, and you can just ruin all of your progress. So you can be a lot more controlled if you want to just shave with the spine, and you're going to save your edge in the process. And then, like, for example, all of this can be used to start a fire, but you can debark a stick like this really easily. And it works better. If you're trying to do this with the edge of your knife, you're going to be a lot more prone to like gouging and taking bigger pieces off. This is a lot easier. You can make tinder a lot easier like this. You get fluff like that right there. This is really good tinder. But this can be used for a lot of things, not just starting a fire. For example, if you are, I don't know, an example that JB gave us just the other day was if you're putting together a cabinet or some wood and your joint is just a little bit off, you can use the spine of your knife to slowly shave that away versus trying to use your edge and then cutting and ruining all of your work. So stop thinking of a hard spine like this as something that's just uncomfortable. It's actually something that's very, very useful. And I prefer a really hard spine, a 90-degree, over something that's crowned, because that has no utility whatsoever. But if you have a 90-degree spine, you can use that for a lot more than you probably ever thought you could. So the last hack is actually kind of a variation of one we did last time, where we used either a heat shrink or one of these Ranger bands and some shot cord, and you can put your hand through this and still work on things and still use and articulate your flashlight. We're going to take the Ranger band off real quick. I'm going to show you why. So basically, instead of having a heat shrink or a Ranger band hold your shot cord on, you just thread it straight up under the clip. Then when you go to put this in your pocket, all you have to do is grab that and you quickly have access. Your flashlight's already indexed properly. It works really, really well, actually. And it doesn't have to be shot cord like this. Actually, I also really like these zipper pulls. I don't even know what these are called. They're the ones that Blue Ridge Overland Gear uses. But you just slide this up under there. This doesn't stay in place quite as well, but it works all the same. When you put your flashlight in your pocket, you just grab that. I think that shot cord is probably the best one, if I'm going to be honest. However, you could use paracord, you can use Ranger bands, you can use all sorts of stuff. The idea is just putting a loop onto your clip on your flashlight, so you can grab it really quickly and you're not fumbling around trying to pull your flashlight out and then reposition it. You just pull it out in the direction it needs to be used, and it's quite nice, actually. So there you have it. There are 7 EDC hacks you should know in addition to the other 7 from the last video. If you didn't watch that, it's up here somewhere. Go check it out. Also, let us know in the comments down below if you got 7 more hacks and whether you want to see even more. We've got actually quite a few more in the queue that we put to the side because they didn't fit this video. So let us know in the comments if you want to see more hacks videos like this, and maybe we theme it around something other than just EDC. Maybe it's camping, hiking, backpacking, whatever it may be. Truck hacks, that could be a thing. I don't know. I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, carry on.